everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have some more amazing downloads for you today, quite electric, and I'm trying to release some of that electricity right now. Take a deep breath, everybody. I'm going to get right into this read because just more amazing messages. You're not going to believe the stuff that's coming up. And it's not for me to question my downloads, it's for me to just get them out there and for you to discern for yourself. There's definitely specific messages in this read, okay, for certain people out there. Oh. All right, it is February 16th, 2019. It is the 16th of the Tower. Okay, it could be major sudden events, for good or for bad. It could be major epiphanies. It could be a major sex life. Whatever it is, it's the Tower energy. But the day adds up to 30, which is the Four of Wands, the Union energy. But it also has to do with homes and structures, right? And celebrations, right? So it was just 111. So we have homes, businesses, weddings even, you know, big parties like that, and then the Tower. So it can relate to all of those things, okay? And it's just 121 as well. So 21 is completion. Completion definitely came up today. Completion, love, and forgiveness. And 3 is the Empress, 30 is the Four of Wands, then 16 is a 7 of the Tower, so 7 is Chariot. The Chariot came up as well. And the Tower was definitely in the read, in the underlying energy. Come up again. I'm not sure if it just came up once or came up more, but it's very obvious. It's right next to the Lovers. So you'd like to know that as well. Whether for the positive or the negative, that's where it came up. And also, just a shout out to Lucy there, and I think there was something else I need to bring up. Oh, and again, Lightstar too. Lightstar, thank you for the beautiful image that you gave me, and for anyone who's interested, I'm supporting Lightstar in that respect. You can check out her website, and then Lucy as well. Lucy, and Lucy came up because I was just talking to Lucy, but also the major arcana that came up were Lovers, Luna for the Moon, and then I was getting Lucy, so I wanted to give you a shout out for that. Also, and Lucy is from Storytime and the Channel of Love 666 if you want to check out her websites. Storytime Tarot Cards. I'm sorry if I'm not getting the title correct. I'll double check that. But I also got, as I was about to start the read, I was getting Tiny Dancer. And I'd love for anyone who has interpretations for Tiny Dancer to let me know below, because I'm not sure I'm really clear on the meaning from Tiny Dancer. So if any of you are clear on that, please comment so below. When I looked in on my inner child and my twin's inner child today, they were more grown up again today, but today she was reading, and he gets right off the bed. He gets off and starts pulling her off the bed, playing caveman, like he was being funny, pretending to force sex on her. So I was literally seeing him yank her off the bed, and she's laughing the whole time, as he's pretending to have sex with her. And then he goes over to the corner, so I wasn't sure what he was doing, but then I see him coming away with like an armful of condoms and walks back over and stands in front of her, still laughing. And demands that she opens every one and use them. So that's your message of the day. It was pretty funny, actually. So getting right into the read, it was done at 9. The cut and deal was done at 9:14, and it was finished at 9:30. So 14 is the Temperance, the Angel, and then 30 is that Four of Wands again, which is today's energy. The Union card. The major arcana were the Lovers. That was the underlying energy. The Luna came up, which is the Moon. Starseed is the Fool, and Indigo, which is the Magician. So a lot of new energy here at the full moon for the Lovers. And perfection was coming up again this morning for the Virgo full moon, okay, it's time to release that. And also the card underneath the underlying energy was the Wheel of Fortune, which I also use that card. So that's another major arcana there. Big ones, big good ones. And as I was shuffling, I saw the Lover's card, but I also saw the Ten of Swords, which I was definitely getting that like the worst is over, because that was coming up too. There wasn't any major, like, in the major cards for the read, there were swords coming up. There was one sword in the read. What was that one? So the only sword that came up for the main read, not the clarifiers, but the main read, was the Seven of Swords. But in the Sirian Starseed deck, it's about passing on downloads and taking risk, okay? So it's not necessarily what that negative connotation that you think. So let me get into the read. And Ben Franklin's here again today, so you might want to pay attention. Oh, by the way, yesterday, I wanted to bring that up because it was a long read. So for those of you who want to go back and see the connections I got from Mary and Jesus and the presidents, as well as Ben Franklin, I think it was at 46 minutes on the clock on my video from yesterday. You might want to go back and just check that out, the oracle card part. So it was a very important message. Let's see, where are we? The only court card that came up in this read was the Knight of Wands. We had 3 wands, 3 cups, 1 sword, and the Knight of Wands. There was no pentacles here. The numbers in the coding was all about completion. And the numbers that came up were 6, 72. 72, by the way, is the 4 of Pentacles, that holding on energy. But the total number for the coding was 78, which is the completion of the tarot deck, which is that 10 of Pentacles, that ultimate family life, right? That legacy. And we have completion here. So they both went hand in hand. And then 30 and 78 came up again in the read at some point. But the message was all about, well, let me tell you the other numbers first. 22, 77, 27 is coming up big time. And actually, Taft came up yesterday in the presidents, and Taft was the 27th president. 72 comes up as well, like I said, 72. 23, 67. 23 is the King of Wands, 67 is the Knight of Pentacles. The sequence 6, 7, 8 came up, as well as 10, which of course is the Wheel of Fortune. Also 2, 6, 7 came up, which is my area code. And then 8 also came up, just as a reminder for zeros to stay at 0 point. So a lot of numbers came up. And like I said, Taft and Lucy, and then LSD was coming up for Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, but also the elephant, because in, I don't know if it's Ventnor or Margate, there's an elephant called Lucy there. And then my aunt's Lucy, and then I was getting George, because my uncle's George, and then I was getting Curious George. And the Fool with a capital L, right, for love, and Lucy. And the other L's that were coming up, Lovers and Luna. So there might be a shout out there to a Luna. And then the 10 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, 4 of Pentacles, King of Wands, Page of Wands, Knight of Pentacles, Strength, and Wheel, where all the energy's coming out from the numbers. So, but definitely the elephant from New Jersey Shore, and Curious George, and the Fool with a capital L, because the Fool is always all about love. But Taft was coming up. Taft was the only president to be justice. After his presidency, he went on to be Chief Justice, I believe it was. I'm not positive on that title, but you know, for like 8 consecutive years. You know, which is a big deal. He was very much about justice. And, you know, justice is all about truth and balance. So you might want to check out some information about Taft and come back and comment. Let me know what any downloads come up for you on that. So as we get into the meaning of the message, so first thing I was getting was MS. And maybe a little I next to it. But I was getting, you know, not the typical things of, you know, multiple sclerosis or something like that, but literally MS, like Ms. as opposed to Mrs. or Miss. And I was getting Mary and Sophia. Ms. Mary Sophia, the grace of divine love. 2 Knights of Wands, making goo-goo eyes, hypnotize, completion. So all the messages were around that. So it was really, I literally got the goo-goo eyes. There's 2 zeros next to each other with the little approximations in it, and it literally looks like hypnotized or Google eyes, okay? So that's what you're getting today. All right, so the Knight of Flames came up within the coding as well as 7, 6 and 7, which is the Knight of Pentacles, 67, and 72, which is that 4 of Pentacles, but then just the 6, 7, and 2, which is Love, Chariot, and the High Priestess. Okay, so there's definitely movement there with the Knight of Wands rushing in, and completion, and goo eyes, and hypnotize. Okay, so message of the gods, love backed by source, holding on passionately, rushing in. The 4 of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, makes goo eyes, and completion. Completes mission, I just got. Message is I, the God. Sophia 9, collective consciousness. Source energy, the feminine inside the masculine, secretly good at fire and hypnotizing, and goo eyes, completion. Okay, also divine feminine, divine masculine to add test of flames. And may this be a test for you. If someone makes goo eyes or hypnotizes you, are you going to fall for it if you're not in your truth? But I was really just getting a lot of positive energy here. And also 2 Knights was coming up, so something may be significant about the 18th, going into the 19th for the full moon, as well as just the masculine and feminine being 2 Knights, both being the Knight of Wands here. And I love that Mary Sophia, the grace of divine love, was coming up here. So let's get into the read. It starts out with the Lovers. Inspired by Justice reversed, Queen of Wands reversed, coming together at work to co-create, needing courage of high vibration destiny, balance, and the King of Swords, master of good balance and good fortune, and good lover. Okay, so the Queen of Wands and Justice were coming up together on the Lover's card, feeling like she was done unjustly. The Page of Wands putting injustice of the Queen of Wands reversed behind him, and focusing on the green, blue, and purples, or the upper chakras. Twin offered pure innocent love and a harsh message, calming the beast into submission and then to erupt, have an epiphany, or explode. Or one kid was very sweet, the other with harsh words. The mother trying to pacify the divine masculine, so that could be the karmic or his actual mother, and makes him explode in fury. Or Blue Bonnet was just coming up here, or child fought with police officer about a ticket and got in more trouble, or it was the Queen of Wands with her kids with her, and someone expanded the situation unnecessarily. Or the divine masculine defending his twin to a Leo, causing an explosion. Leo on all fours, and it sounds like they're begging, or just being their lioness, right? But the Knight of Swords has truth on his side, shutting her up, stretching out all limbs, telling someone to get packing and get out. So that's definitely for someone. It's not going to be for everyone. Remembering this was very interesting coming up here for the masculine. The masculine remembering the cotton fields and desolation when she was his owner, leaving him and twin with nothing. And this is why now she was the maid, or staying home and not working. Okay? There's more to this coming up, and Spirit's connecting with me. So listen closely. There's some very specific messages here. So as I turn the page and I write down, it's 10:04, right? 10:04, good buddy. Got the message clear, loud and clear. And there also may be some gay connotations here with the 10:4, because when I looked it up this last year, it's no longer just the typical trucker. There's some gay connotation, I believe, with the 10:4 now, so you might want to look it up. But also, I didn't bring it up just for that. It came up for something else that's about to come up as well. So in need of attention, and remember, this is the union read, so these energies can apply to the masculine and the feminine. Sorry I'm such a mess. I was just working out, but I had to get this message out to you. In need of attention or feeling a failure, in a downturn of luck, seemingly unending cycles of suffering, And then Suffragette City came up, all right, which is David Bowie. All right, so this takes me in a new line here. So then I was looking up Suffragette City, and the first site I opened up to was opinions about what it meant, right? So the first opinion was about a love offer with Henry being heroin and him meeting the girl that he wants to be clean with, all right? And that was the first rated opinion of what it meant, and I was getting major connection with that because the movie I watched last night was exactly that. It was called Victor. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's about a kid who gets addicted to heroin, and there's a girl that he really likes and he wants to get clean for, and Spirit's connecting with me very strongly. It's very important. So that may have been very true. But Henry came up recently too, so it's relating Henry to heroin. It also, in the second opinion, they thought it was about his bisexuality, and that he was telling the guy to go for the girl, and then there's stuff in that about women's rights to vote and all that kind of stuff. Suffragette City had to do with that, the suffrage of women. And this, by the way, was lyricinterpretation.com. Women got the right to vote in England 1918, and the U.S. was 1920. But the second opinion came up around his bisexuality, and when he played Suffragette City, playing the guitar with his teeth, making it look like he was displaying oral sex on stage, okay? So that was definitely coming up here. And also some information about David Bowie that he gave Herman's Hermits, which I love that, because Hermits, as soon as I saw that, I knew I had to bring it up. Herman's Hermits, You Pretty Things, he had given that to them. Then when they weren't doing that well, he offered Suffragette City, but they wanted all the young dudes, so he gave it to them, but that was the one they actually performed with. But then, of course, Suffragette City became very famous as well. Suffering after released from prison, still not sovereign, or karmic and or child drain on his power, money, and independence, and this could be for the feminine as well, but I'm getting it more for the masculine. Up nights worrying about prisoner escaping, and worth waiting for. So worth waiting for is the underlying energy with flirt below it. His harsh truth seen online of abuse and perversion. Justice out, sweet justice, just in time, in death and or transformation of a Sagittarius drinker or potion maker, very depressed and or could be a witch, okay, or someone who practices those kind of things. May not call themselves a witch. I'm sorry, I just had to correct something before I forget to do it. Alright, so, and there's no judgment here. These are the downloads I'm getting. There was some definitely negative stuff coming up here, but that need to come out. And this was not a judgment as the masculine. It could be either way, or a feminine. But there's a Sag drinker coming up here, or a potion maker, very depressed, and or a witch. And she's coming up as very negative. She is upright because she thinks she is right. And everything around her is very negative. Okay. So again, I'm going to say this again. His harsh truth seen online of abuse. So whether it's his being the abuser and him being abused, or for the feminine, okay, either way, abuse and perversion, justice is out, sweet justice. Somebody was saying sweet justice, thank God. Just in time, in death and or transformation of a Sagittarius drinker or potion maker who's been very depressed and is a witch. And then I saw a scythe type knife. I don't know what it's called, but it's the hook knife with the death card. I was looking up the proper name for that, and scythe doesn't really look like that. But when I looked it up, I immediately was taken to, because I put in hook knife, right? What do you think I got? I got Peter Pan's from bladeforums.com. I opened that. Peter Pan's the hook knife. Captain Hook. Guess what it was called? A Bowie knife. Spelled exactly the same. This always amazes me. And then when I looked up Scythe, I was getting Scythe, which is S-I-F-E, is a certain shaped knife. But I was also getting Siph, like S-Y-P-H. And I didn't go into further looking up the definitions of Siph, but that syphilis was coming right up. So syphilis is definitely affecting somebody or has affected someone in their life. Justice, to be cut out from life, death of a son that tied them together, or she planned a son to keep him tied to her. And then this goes on again, that this comes up again where she would then plan an abortion. So this was planned ahead of time. Like she would get pregnant to get him to marry her if they're not married, or to remarry her if they got divorced, and then she would have an abortion afterwards. So somebody was planning that. Justice, to be cut out from life. Death of a son that tied them together, or someone may have lost a son together, which ties them and their karmic together from the past. Or she planned a son to keep him tied to her. And she could have even gotten pregnant by someone else, because he may have been snipped already. All right, so this is coming up, both situations. So if it doesn't apply to you, don't make it fit. It's only for certain people. The underlying energies here were spiritual partnership and spiritual career, both very significant. And like I said before, spiritual partnership is 27 and spiritual career is 78. So 27 and 78 came up completely separate from these cards in the coding. Those cards had nothing to do with the coding. 27, which is the Ace of Wands, and 78, which is the Ten of Pentacles. New passion, new creativity, right? New growth. And then 78 has to do with that family legacy. Okay, whether it's your extended family, your parents and siblings and whatever. It was just 21, 41, which is completion, and then 41 is the Ace of Cups. But this is new passion in a new family legacy to build. Sapphire handle, blue eyes, truth out. Of the King of Cups reversed, which comes up several times reversed, the King of Cups here. Saturn negative placement, so maybe someone with a negative Saturn placement. Someone with an organ donor or transplant, so someone may have been a donor or the transplant recipient. Barbershop quartet also came up here, all around this King of Cups reversed. Again, sapphire handle, blue eyes, truth out, of King of Cups reversed. So he may have blue eyes, or he may like blue eyes, it's Frank Sinatra, or something else that references that. But the King of Cups was coming up as reversed, which is definitely either an alcoholic or someone who's very emotionally detached, or can be manipulative as well, or just really crying all the time, and that could be more the alcoholic personality. Okay, but this is coming up as a negative Saturn placement, so something that's not in its most positive placement. But then the organ donor, so he could have donated, or may need one if he's an alcoholic. He probably needs a liver transplant, something like that. But this is coming up. And barbershop quartet, so someone may actually sing in a barbershop quartet, or it might just have to do with the barbershop. But again, the quartet stuff has been coming up a lot with the Four of Wands coming up again today, and then the 4 chakras that I mentioned yesterday that came up in my image from Light Star. So alcoholic definitely came up. The worst is over. I wrote bluebirds, but I was just getting blue bloods, so that might be coming up for some as well. The worst is over as bluebirds fly north again, escorted by 3 blackbirds. 3 out of 10, and that comes up for me all the time, and I was wondering about that, and here it's coming up again. 3 dark of 3 of, in my reads it comes up all the time as the top 3 cups of the family of 10 in the cups, because in the Sirian Starseed deck it's literally a pyramid of the cups of cups, to the 1 for the 10 of Cups. So there's 3 dark energies within a family that's darkening the whole thing. Money floating in rafters. This is a specific message. I don't know if it's even for my twin, but it could be. Money floating in the rafters. Someone's hiding money. With cobwebs and black widow spider. And I was definitely getting this Queen of Wands hiding money. With the spiders and the rats. And like I said, it could be in the rafters. Queen of Wands, who could be a witch the whole time and may not call herself a witch, but that's the energy that's coming up. And like I said, she's coming up upright in the underlying energy because she thinks she's always in the right. And she's got a big head here. Then I was getting lug nut, which I actually got in meditation yesterday. I was getting like an image of a lug nut open but covered on one side. You know how when you put tables and chairs together, the one side is always covered in kind of like a pointed dome, you know, for the good side so you don't see the screw. I was getting that coverage on one side, like a pointy head of the screw, and then and that might be part of this thing that someone's getting screwed, but it was a lug nut, so I was getting the four-sided insertion there, but I was seeing it as rotating around in circles in my meditation yesterday, but that was coming up again today. The lug nut toolkit, electronics, spinning tool with wrench in it, Rocket Man, the nose of the ship, so I was getting blast off here, burning the Olympic torch, using sulfur to cover it, the smell. So someone's using sulfur as an excuse, like they're probably using it as an excuse because of going to the bathroom or something like that, but they're actually using the sulfur smell to cover up something they're doing that they don't want someone to know about. So this is a very important message for someone, okay? And it has to do with, I don't know if someone keeps their toolkit in the attic or something, because I was getting above the rafters. Money floating in the rafters with cobwebs and black widow spider with rats, all right? So this Queen of Wands is coming up as the Black Widow spider, and she hangs out with rats, which may be the three dark of the family. There's some kind of dark energy, which is a witch, or just has other kind of practices like that, you know, using dark energy. Lug nut toolkit, electronics, spinning tool with wrench in it, Rocket Man, the nose of a ship. And there's that nose again. What I was saying, the nose of the ship is that, you know, that the finished side of that lug nut that I was telling you about. Burning the Olympic torch, this is her, using sulfur to cover the smell. So if she's doing kind of black magic ceremonies, she's using sulfur to cover up whatever smell that she was using in the ceremony. So I just stopped right there because I had to go to my workout. So I'm putting on the icon today for this video, the picture of Ben Franklin I told you about, because my father has a Ben Franklin sitting on the bench that's actually at Penn. There's a full-size Ben Franklin on the campus of Penn. And so my dad has that award from Penn of Ben Franklin sitting on the bench. And there was the metal guy behind him with his hands on his head. So I took a picture of that since Ben Franklin came up again today, and that's what I posted on the icon. You might want to look at that. And then Ben Franklin comes up again here as well. All right, so at 12 o'clock we start again. Back to the Union Read. I'd noticed on the way to my workout, there's a place called Rometta, and so Rome and Etta were coming up because I said suffragette. It had to do with, you know, feminizing the suffrage. And then Rome was coming up attached to that. So that was coming up as well on the way to the gym. And on the way home, I was also thinking about, and my trainer is you know, she's a very aware person. She's vegan, and obviously she's a trainer, and she's a churchgoer. So we definitely resonate on a lot of things, but, you know, we don't want to go too much into the church thing, because there may be a few differences, but it doesn't really matter, because we're, you know, both on that journey, okay? But what came up for me on the way home had to do with the word worship. That there's something wrong with that word. Because I don't feel like there's anything wrong with going to church. I mean, anything that makes you want to be a better person, I think is great. It's not the purpose of religion or church that is what we're trying to correct. It's the worship part, you know, the separation of, you know, if you designate a religion, then you become separate from another religion. So then there's separation, and we're looking towards unity consciousness here. So that's the whole point. The worship, if you've broken down, comes up like worship or worry-ship. The space between what's off about worship, that word. And I was thinking to myself, so how do we get from worship to love? Why is that word bothering me? And it was very interesting, the path it took me on, because the word that I get the space between the words of worship and love, is probably not what you're going to expect. But I get humility is the correct word. Okay, because I was thinking, okay, so what's the opposite word of worship? And so of course at first you'd think that person's hate for someone, but that's not what it is. The opposite of worship is selfish. Because when you worship, you're worshiping someone outside yourself. That's low self-esteem. Where selfish is the opposite of that. That very high, or even more, over self-esteem. Okay, if there can be such a thing. So, instead of worshiping outside yourself, worship from within self. That's the selfish we're talking about. When you worship outside yourself, you cause separatism. When you worship inside yourself through your higher self, you worship collectivism. Okay, so the collective consciousness through your higher self. There's nothing wrong with a place to pray or a want or need to be a good person. So none of us have anything against any church that's actually a sanctuary for meditation, which is what prayer is. Okay, it's the way we go about the honoring of that source energy, that God energy. Okay, we don't need to worship outside ourselves. We need to worship within ourselves. Okay, the collective consciousness, not the man-made establishment. Okay, so the Queen of Wands, in love with herself, is coming out here. It's not my words. This is what's coming up from the cards. The truth is out about the King of Cups reversed, and the worst is over, and now she's telling him to get back to work. She states as his slave driver. Okay, so this is coming up as a continuation from yesterday, because the slave thing was definitely coming up. So again, this Queen of Wands is coming up as upright. She thinks she's in the right. So whatever was going on with the King of Cups reversed, if he was drinking or whatever his issue is, something they went through and the worst is over, now she's telling him it's time for you to get back to work. She's stating this as his slave driver. All about money floating overhead for her. She figures swords and pentacles now balanced out for her pain and suffering. Suffrage at city. Okay? So she's getting back. She's getting vengeance, right? She holds the red and orange, but no yellow. The gold she wears is brass, tarnished, dark, and cloudy. She gets the yellow, solar plexus, confidence, from the pillar flame she gets to stand next to, or the divine masculine. Her torch that she gets to run with. Her stinger in hand. Hooded like Little Red Riding Hood, but actually casting dark spells on her man and across the land. She is the landowner, and he is the slave. And I was definitely getting this, and it was very negative energy for me. I didn't like feeling through this, but I have to report the messages that I get. You go to work, study hard, and make money. I won't hurt you when you come home. So if you do this, then I won't hurt you when you come home. Or pin you to the grass or glass ceiling with my daggers while Bambi watches in the mirror. So this is the karmic literally knowing, because of her dark energies that she practices. So this is not for everyone, but for those who are, she knows the divine feminine feels them have sex, so she's doing it on purpose to be spiteful and vengeance and have vengeance. Okay, so obviously I don't like to think that about anyone, but it was coming up here, so somebody's doing it. Somebody's planning a child to tie them back together, her and the divine masculine, and then planning an abortion after they get married. The Queen of Wands trampling on lover with her drama happily, draining his funds as he has epiphany worth waiting for about her drinking or sneakiness in so-called spiritual partnership. So hopefully the masculine's awakening to this in time for this not to happen to him. And this is part of the reason why I have to put these messages out, even if they're not of the most positive nature, obviously. Recently, opportunity to pay off some debts, to rise above the lover's drama, above the heat. The Queen of Wands thinks she's right, and that the judge was unfair, inspiring her to explode at work or just pack up and leave, with their children or leaving them behind. The King of Swords has assured balance in destiny, a fortune of lovers after dealing with her. So King of Swords as the divine masculine is now, once he's done with the karmic, if he's divorcing, is now making, assuring himself balance in his destiny and fortune with other lover or lovers after having dealt with her, okay, because it was a mess. It seems like it was a very long and drawn out thing, someone who's very manipulative and vengeful and just drawing something on and on. So the foundation is the full moon. As the full moon approaches, at home or in union, the battle is over, letting go of all wounds and all burdens and possible confessions every night towards the full moon, confessing of love to twin and children. So centrally the energy is about the two flames. Two of Wands was right in the center of the reed. The Emperor starting over, exposing dysfunctional family, and mother or sisters draining his funds, or divine feminine ungrounded due to finances draining, or dysfunctional family or lineage, both trying to find peace in their connection of love. The challenge being the Knight of Wands in a passionate move. Overworking. There could be an overworking but can't focus, or not working at all and needs to. King of Pentacles reversed, who may be someone greedy or just ungrounded or losing money and status, or has a prisoner, the Queen of Swords, imprisoned at workplace. After conflict, so there's three different energies coming up here, and they could be one person or two people as well. We have the Knight of Wands, but in clarifying the Knight of Wands, there's a King of Pentacles reversed and a King of Wands reversed. King of Pentacles is coming up as can't focus at work, or doesn't have work and needs work because they're losing money and status. And the King of Wands is coming up as the conflict between them now over, with the King of Wands walking away in peace. And that the King of Wands here is coming up as the angel, okay, so the divine masculine, inspired to new life or offer of money to get out of a contract, with the King of Pentacles reversed, who's maybe coming up here as arrogant and judging his twin. He just wants peace. Now awake to the sneakiness and half-truths of marriage, contract, or commitment, or establishment church or a church leader, potentially, who took all his money, stealing away to manifest. The Queen of Swords may have taken all of it. The angel keeping quiet about the harsh truth, possibly an arrest or rehab or hospitalization, coming together to choose a path, a nightmare due to work, desperate for justice and ready to manifest it himself at the full moon. Burning the candle at both ends to find peace in this transformation, change, and or death situation. Soon, starseed, which is a fresh leap of faith of the Fool, as the Queen of Swords talking, chooses path in the world of twin, talking of split, duplicity, need of clarity and or pregnancy and loss of it, needing closure, completion of cycle to right their world, grounding and integrating their soul connection with Scrooge, or just holding on too tightly to stability while breaking through crown, truth, balance, peace and patience will triumph to release her from her prison. Okay, so it's coming up like the divine masculine is definitely overworking, trying to fix something. The union is coming up as seeing itself as the Six of Cups. I wanted to show you this. I have to take a picture of this actually. So this is the Six of Cups. This is in the union spot as how you see yourselves, both the masculine and the feminine, okay? The inner child's love, both with negative childhoods, of poor judgment and deliberation, fearing others, holding back passions, or motivated and then conking out or losing steam at the last moment, or chickening out to keep family unit happy. So it's it's coming up as a pattern for both the masculine and the feminine from their bad childhood, fearing and not making decisions. It's that vacillation of being able to make a decision because they always felt like someone else knew more than them as a child because there's so much abuse there. And now as an adult, it was easier just to keep the family unit happy, not worry about your own happiness. Loving yourself first comes up very important here, as well as true love, that this is a romance of a lifetime, which has been continuously coming up. Around the union, or how it is seen, is walking away or within, footprints in the sand, which is coming up as Jesus, the little drummer boy walking across the sand dunes alone, no sleep, no sheep, no donkey, no place to call home. One of three women and a man not quite split from partner, expressing feelings to each other of depression and loss of hope due to whole karmic situation. For both the masculine and the feminine, they need to clear blocks of indigo, magician embodiment, and that King of Cups reversed energy that's coming up again, falling apart due to emotional issues, right? If someone's an alcoholic in the family. The High Priestess finding peace away from exes, also coming up as needing to clear. Because it's coming up like this King of Cups reverse may be in the masculine's current environment, but also could be the environment of the Divine Feminine and her karmics from the past. Completion comes up here for the union, but even more so, forgiveness and love. Being woken up to a new life, taking a risk, receiving downloads, and letting them sit. At the full moon, peace and transformation in a bold move to the wounded warrior, grounding new life, and that could be the wounded warrior-ess, looking back or going back to find happiness with self, or at least satisfaction for the masculine and feminine. Rising up, levitating, the King of Swords drops, the Empress reversed, and or any and all lack at the full moon release, including alcohol, in a storm of lightning and hail, striking the glass of wine in his hand, the Holy Grail, from which the lightning originates. Ben Franklin took a risk with a key, wire, and a kite. That was June of 1752 in Philadelphia, PA, here we are, with his son William Franklin. Which is funny because my brother-in-law's name is very similar to that. Researched electricity, that it was fluid, proposing lightning and electricity were linked, but that metal objects could be used to prevent homes from getting hit. So actually, 1952, the idea of using a kite to get there, he had sent a letter that caused quite a stir in Paris, and then Dalibard actually used a long metal pole to conduct from lightning on May 10th, 1752. I'm sorry if I said 19 before, but 1752. So he was actually the first with that pole to get the lightning, so it's written. And then 1 month later, that's when Ben supposedly used the kite into a Leyden jar. But also, the lightning that they did, the French person did, was according to Ben Franklin's hypothesis, proving it correct. So it was his hypothesis. And then he did it again with the kite, which they hadn't done. But then it was later argued that the lightning through this kite would have killed him through the key, and that he could have received ambient energy from a lightning strike, but not the full strike. He might have been lucky and just had that stroke of luck, right? With lightning striking. So here we have the lightning striking. You guys see the picture of Ben? I didn't move it at all. I just took a picture of it from a certain angle, and I wasn't even noticing where the light bulb was, and it ends up right above Ben's head, okay? But it also has that guy, little character holding his head behind him. So the Holy Grail of Epiphanies is delivered. Hot air and balloon about to blow. A huge breakthrough for electrified divine masculine. Ideas of brilliance coming through. Holding back truth or announcement of love in bold move or travel, letting go to patch up vulnerabilities within himself and his home, to be ready to offer love, no longer caring what others say or do. So lovers are destined at the Virgo full moon to trying to figure out what I wrote there. Oh, to fuse. Lovers destined at Virgo full moon to fuse hearts together, in walking away or within, rising above the heat like the hot air balloon. Two flames move passionately to fresh start after huge download of indigo and magician connect and take a risk to make electricity into a cup, the holy grail of love. I got chills, they're multiplying, and I'm losing control, 'cause the power you're supplying, it's electrifying. Okay, so that was definitely coming up for the masculine. That was the final message for the read. Okay, it wasn't about the next line for the feminine. It was about the masculine today and lightning striking. Okay, for sure. It's 45-45. So 45-45 is the 5 of Cups times 2. So it's definitely that grief, and that the grieving is ending. Okay, as lightning strikes, because that's that 3 of Swords in the Syrian Starseed deck. Here is the read, and I'm going to do oracle cards. Okay, and if you want to, I'm going to show you the picture of Ben that I posted too, so maybe you can see it better here. I don't know. Okay, so this is the picture of Ben. You like that? And then the lamp above. Look at that, and even better, this is great because the light's shining so much around him. Okay, but you can see that on the icon. It wasn't as clear because there's extra light coming in here. There's more light that was actually in, than was actually in the picture. So I'm going to pull some oracle cards for you guys. All right. So we're gonna ask Ben Franklin today for our messages. We have the Ascension deck. It's going a little longer, but that's all right. 46. Clear and align. Clear and align. Clear and align. So today is February 16. I want to mention kite came up. I think it was yesterday, but it's come up multiple times recently. But it was definitely yesterday, I believe. When I saw galactic, I know I saw kite in that, and there might have been something else as well. So this February 16, 2019, the High Priestess and the Tower and the Sun. The High Priestess as the feminine and the Sun as the masculine, okay? And then the Tower, that's what's coming up here. For everyone watching, in the best and highest good of all those concerned, what do we need to know, what do we need to learn? And I'm asking Benjamin Franklin, please, sir. Ben Franklin, what is your advice to us, please? Okay, we have Hilarion on the bottom of the deck, which is 46, which was the 6 of Cups that we saw as the placement of how the union sees itself. The 6 of Cups, Hilarion. The affirmation is, I open myself to the wisdom and guidance of Hilarion. So if you're interested, you can check him out. He's the 5th ray of technology, science, truth, and knowledge, which is very much why Ben Franklin's coming up here, you know, because he's that inventor, scientist person. Very much in line with Thoth. All right. So not only did the Sun come up in the date, it comes up here again, number 10, the Wheel of Fortune, high vibration. We also got Paul the Venetian, so maybe some Paul the Venetian energy with Ben Franklin. And then this kind of wanted to come out too. I wanted to show it to you, Marco Polo. Okay, that's 47. So we have 10, 37, and 47. 10, the Wheel of Fortune. 37 is the King of Cups, which is coming up reversed. So it just might be someone who's very over emotional right now, or manipulative, and or alcoholic, like I said. Definitely can come up that way. And then 47 is the 7 of Cups, heaven in their eyes. Yeah, that comes up as significant as well. So 47 and 11, and then we have 2-1, 37-1, and then the 10-1. And Hilarion is 46-1. A lot of masculine energy here. And dreams, they're seeing synchronicities everywhere, figuring out what their options are, and with heaven in his eyes, okay? Seeing the truth now. Not the illusions, but the real truth, the dreams. Okay, so the Sun says, the Sun is the navel chakra of this universe. The orange was definitely coming up here too in the red and orange descriptions of the lower chakras. And remember, all the chakras are important as a human. We're just focusing more on the upper chakras now, okay? The sun is the navel chakra of the universe. It radiates the divine masculine principles into us. Choosing this card suggests the universe is calling on you to develop your qualities of decisive action, protecting the vulnerable, rational thinking, courage, and strength. Invoke the sun in order to light up your aura and fill you with renewed enthusiasm for life. This energy will enable you to help everyone feel welcomed and empowered, which is an important ascension quality. Your guidance is to fill your aura with brilliant, and that word brilliant came up for the masculine today, golden light. Be true to yourself and act decisively today. Okay, and it was very much about the golden light that was missing from the red and orange, right? Be true to yourself and act decisively today. The affirmation is, I radiate golden light and take decisive action today. Paul the Venetian, number 37, 1, says, the great master Paul is Koan of the third ray. He lifts people's spirits and sets their souls free to create beauty and inspiration through music and art, and also in practical ways. This card encourages you to communicate your essence by writing, painting, or in any heartfelt manner. Call on Master Paul to help you express your visions, and he will co-create them with you. These visions will hold such light that people will be touched by them, thereby accelerating the plan for Earth. Paul carries the flame of liberty, all right, and we had the Olympic flame and torch come up in the read again, and is helping to set you free, okay? And literally the torch was coming up next to the Queen of Wands because that was her divine masculine as the Olympic torch flame next to her. That pillar that stands next to her was like the Olympic torch. So let's bring this back here. Paul carries the flame of liberty and is helping to set you free. Affirmation is, I express myself creatively and harmoniously with balance and beauty. And I'll give you Marco too. Marco's 47 is 11. Master Marco represents the highest galactic confederation of our solar system, the capital of which is on Saturn. He liaises with Commander Ashtar of the Intergalactic Fleet to bring us the wisdom and knowledge held by stellar cultures. He also assists Hilarion on the fifth ray of technology, science, and knowledge to enable people to expand their higher mental abilities and develop spiritual technology for the future. Your guidance is to open your mind to communications and connections from other star systems and universes, and ask Marco to assist and protect you. The affirmation is, I'm open to the wisdom from the stars. Okay. So again, I bring all that stuff up in the codes and anything I look up, medical headlines, things like that, because there are definitely, depending on what your field is, if you get it, it could be a download for you to expand something, okay? For you to make your mark in the world, in your field of expertise. So clear and align. Take another deep breath. Okay, this is for the past life deck. But I like that Ben Franklin brought up Paul the Venetian, because it's very much about the arts, and Hilarion as well. The arts and sciences, because the arts and sciences are very much related to each other, that part of the brain. Okay. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of twins are left-handed, like myself. Alright, clear to line. Alright, so, again, for this February 16, 2019, take that deep breath. For everyone watching and the best and highest good of all is concerned, what do we need to know? What do we need to learn? I'm asking Ben Franklin, Sir Benjamin Franklin, what do we need to learn? What do we need to know from the past? Okay, again, Mother comes up at the bottom of the deck, which came up yesterday. Okay, and that was relating to reading, but also the twins as their inner children, learning apart and then coming together to share with each other. It's like putting the patchwork together, that quilt, which is a reference I got from someone I had to read from about my grandmother coming through, because she was a seamstress, my father's mother. So it's definitely, again, the mother's the underlying energy here. So again, Mother Gaia, your own mother. And I wanted to say too, because I brought up that my mother's middle name was Grace yesterday. Well, her first name is Mary. She's Mary Grace. Nice Jewish name. So Food and hunger is actually, everything's usually the same direction in this deck, but some of the cards are mixed up upside down. And food and hunger is coming up below Mother as reversed. So our food and hunger issues are over. So whoever was destitute or lost a lot of money is now resolved those issues, is coming up there. So that's a good message for someone. We have a few cards here too. Oh, good. So this also came up upside down. Okay, angels and health. So someone's health, either there may be a health issue or the health issue's been resolved. Okay, but your angels are there. You have to ask for their guidance, though. They can't help you unless you ask for it. So ask for guidance and what to do for your health. What is it, even if you're fine, ask what you need to do to make yourself more healthy. From Mother Mary. Yes. Mother Mary is your physician of choice, she's saying to me. Oh. And I was a message, I love how Spirit does this. It's a whole nother story, my family line. There's a lot of very impressive people in my family, but my father's a physician, but my mother, both of her parents were physicians. Now think about this. Her mother was a physician. She was born in 1898, and she was actually a doctor. And Mary was just giving an ode to my grandmother, Dorothy Heller, because she was actually a doctor, like when no women were doctors. In 1898, she was born. So that's props to you, Yaya. Okay. From Mother Mary, no less. I don't want to get myself all... When the high energies come in, it really makes me cry. You know, the higher the energy is. Okay, we also got this. This was confirming the kite energy that I was telling you about. And Ben and the galactic connections. Okay, that it was meant to be when he... So whether that lightning struck his kite or didn't, and it was just the energy around the lightning that struck his kite, you know, it was meant to be. His galactic friends were helping him out there. And when you see those things moving in the sky, and I'm getting connection on this, that your friends up there want you to know it's them. Because we see these things all the time. Like it's like a star moving. It's not a plane. Well, that's them, okay? Showing themselves to you because they know that you're awake, okay? So be aware to that. That's a great message. I was also getting high priest or priestess is coming up also upside down. Okay, so somebody's not in their intuition. But it also can be about being ignorant to something. So someone might need to let go of some judgment that they have of someone. Or just ignorance, you know, because fear is anything of the unknown is fear. So ignorance is just that fear of the unknown, right? So a lot of people might not understand the connection that we have. And once they get comfortable with it, watching it all the time, they may understand and they no longer fear it, which actually is a good thing. So that's a good message. Okay, and just a reminder that fear of anything is always just fear of the unknown because you're uncomfortable with it, just like when you need to make a change. Okay, so now we're going to get to... I keep looking back at the Ascension deck because I keep thinking there's something else I was supposed to get from another message. Sorry I keep biting my lip. The lip stuff I put on is all bunched up in the corners of my mouth. I'm definitely getting alcoholic energy here. There's a major message about that King of Cups reversed. There's a lot of alcoholic masculines out there to use their creative works to help them get past that. Because they're all creative. That's why they're alcoholics, because they're very sensitive people. Put your love into your art, or whatever it is. So for Paul the Venetian, it's writing, painting, or any heartfelt matter. Call in Paul the Venetian to help you with that. Okay, this is for you masculines out there who drink. And Hilarion also, for those of you who are more scientifically oriented, for truth and knowledge. Very important. And the sun. Invoke the sun to give you back your enthusiasm for life. That gold, just envision that golden light around you. Right? A golden white light, sparkly light. Just envision that. It's the Christ light anyway. You can put in some rose pink there too for compassion. Alright, and Mary Magdalene was here too. She's still hanging around because she's the wounded warrior in Dolphins. I listened to dolphin music to sleep last night. I'm getting Mary Magdalene and Dolphins very connected. Okay, so now we have the journey of love. Take another deep breath. See, it's weird. Now my counter says 60. Sometimes as soon as it gets to 60, it turns to the 1, right, to the next digit, but it doesn't. Should be 1 hour. Clear and align. Clear and align. Clear and align. Okay. So again, from Benjamin Franklin, since you're the man of the past 2 days, yesterday and today, for everyone watching in the best and highest good of all is concerned, what do we need to know? What do we need to learn? Benjamin. He's very quick about this stuff. I'm not sure those two. Oh, there's just a number they want me to bring up, I guess. Okay, at the bottom of the deck is the spaces between the words, number 24. 24 is that Queen of Wands energy, okay? At 6, the spaces between the words, and I brought that up earlier too, about between worship and love. Show 2. Okay, again. Alright, so the cards that came out for you guys are the Pearl Threaded, which is these really, really pretty colors, which is the Queen of Cups. She needs to support her King of Cups reversed. And then Falling is 14, so that came up again. Today's, there's definitely 14 coming up in the energy earlier. But it comes up all the time anyway, because it's that Temperance Angel card, so it just comes up in every read now. But we have the Feather, which came up yesterday. Light as a feather on a wing and a prayer. The Pearl, and that Pearl came up yesterday, threaded, alright? It's reiterating. And the Falling. The black and white of the Pearl threaded. The pearl is most beautiful in its white, glimmering shine when there's black in the background to contrast, to make its beauty shine more. It's saying that the masculine's like giving an ode to the feminine. I express my shadow so that you can shine your brilliance more. And the masculine coming up is the dark feather, falling. It's making me want to cry, but I don't want to get to that. Beautiful colors in the flowers there. Maybe like calla lilies or something. Ah, so you might find a feather for the feminines. Could be masculines as well, but I'm getting like a present from your masculine. If you find a feather, it's a present from your masculine. And also you might feel a tickle here and there. That's your masculine. And to floss your teeth, that's a message from my masculine. Pretty funny. For your pearly whites, which I will read those to you, but I just want to get why these came out as well. This card also came out separately from those two, but definitely came out. 21, she is the moon. Okay. 21 is the world. Okay, so completion again. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, Okay, and there's 10 cards. Ah, Spirit is so cool. It's 3 out of 10 again. Pulled out 10 made me pull 10 cards altogether. But there's only 3 cards they wanted, to bring up. 3 of the 10 were dark of the family. But the Mason's saying he had to show his dark so that the feminine could shine. He thought that that was his place. And I'll show you the other cards that came out real quickly. So 36 came out, which is Cosmic Butterfly. Spiral Dance of the Goddess, which is 29. That's very olivey. And ovamy, kind of like fallopian tubes. Riding the Cosmic Wave is number 60. The Breaking, 65, which is the King of Pentacles. 60 is the Six of Swords. They both came up in the read. 29 is the Three of Wands, which came up, and 36 is the Ten of Wands. It's the Confessions and Letting Go of All Your Burdens. They all came up in the read. God Speaks is 33, is the Seven of Wands, which also came up in the read. Standing up for yourself, through yourself, and not looking outward to worship. The Blood Dance, 42, is the Two of Cups, which also came up in the read. And Gifts Received, the Death card, which also came up in the read, 13. So let's see what we can read for you here. I'm not going to read the third one. We did read this recently, but I'm going to read the Pearl Threaded and the Falling. And I opened right up to the Pearl Threaded. 38, the Queen of Cups. Though we labor through the illusion of individuality and have to face our inner challenges in solitude, our spiritual transformation is not an independent event, nor is it for our victory alone. And I want to emphasize victory because the movie I watched was called Victor last night. I was being called to bring that up, about the heroin addict, okay, because he was such a sweet boy, actually. As we approach the enlightened way of all-embracing love, each human being is a pearl in the Divine Mother's garland, and he was very good to his mother in this movie last night, gradually assuming luster and revealing beauty, worth, and radiance over many lifetimes. Together we are creating a precious offering in return for her gift of life. We can learn to draw on the collective effort to allow our own journey to become integrated into the journey of the group without being weighed down, and instead to be lifted up. To do this, we honor the thread that connects each of us in Spirit's Connecting as one divine being, just like the various fingers that belong to the one hand. Then we honor the pearl essence of our divine nature, that we are capable of growth and transformation, becoming divine beauty. This oracle brings you a message. You are to shift your perspective to allow all groups that you're involved in to become a source of energetic lifting rather than depletion. If a group you're involved in cannot do this for you, then you may not be in vibrational resonance, and it may be time for you to seek a group that is more energetically supportive of your vibration. Trust your feelings and don't be scared to open up and allow yourself to connect with others. That way you can truly know if a group can't talk, or gathering is for you, or if you need to move on. But do trust that you are not alone on your journey, and the soul connections that will nourish you will draw you to them like strands of pearls on the Divine Mother's necklaces. And this is very much connecting with Mother Mary. Okay, and it simply says, hearts apart, remember love, and time stands still. Okay, so that's for the Queen of Cups, 38. You want to lift each other up. And if you can't resonate with someone else, then, let go. But no reacting, no fighting. So 14 is falling. Don't worry, you may fear you are falling, but it is just your soul diving deeper into the ocean of bliss. Are you sensing parts of your life flying away from you, out of your control, as the momentum of your divine surrender takes over and becomes more powerful than the old adhesive between you and what no longer serves? Laugh, cry, celebrate, and ponder. Whether it makes sense or not, You are like a perfectly ripe fruit, falling from the universal tree, succulent and ready to be enjoyed for all that you are. If you wait any longer, this moment will be lost, and you'll end up on the ground, having to decay and go to seed in order to start the whole process again. This is not so bad, but what a shame if your sweet nectar was not to be savored by a hungry world. You deserve to be declared the most delicious, juicy fruit that ever was. So fall. You'll end up exactly where you're meant to be. This oracle contains a message for you. You're being called closer into divine union and to the fulfillment of your destiny now. It's safe for you to trust what's happening. Go with it. It might seem like you're being asked to take a leap of faith. It's the right timing for that. It's your time to give of yourself in love without holding back anything of yourself. And it simply says, is it wrong to love? To feel what I hold inside? The answer must wait. Okay? So really beautiful messages there. And let's see, I showed you the picture, right? Okay. Just have faith. And when you have to take a leap of faith, it's because you're trusting the universe. Rise and be loved.